Hello, welcome. This video is going to be the Unpopular Opinions book tag. This tag was created by the Book Archer, and I will leave a link to the original tag in the description. But otherwise, it is just what it sounds like. It's the unpopular opinions we have about books. So let's get into it. I'll be giving 1 to 2 answers per prompt. It won't always be just one answer because I have a lot that I want to talk about. And also I don't know that my initial answer is good enough. So yeah, that's how this is going to go. Okay, so the first prompt is a popular book or series that you didn't like. And for me, I'm going to put forth 2 here. The first is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Before this book, I read And Then There Were None, and I loved it. I thought it was really good. And then I knew Murder on the Orient Express was another very well-loved and very popular Agatha Christie book. And so I thought I would try that next. And it is so different from And Then There Were None, and just not what I was expecting, and like honestly kind of boring, that I did not have a good time reading it. And I think I rated it like 2 or 3 stars out of 5. So I just didn't enjoy that one very much. And the second answer here is going to be a series. It's the Founders Trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. So this series I have seen a lot of praise for. I've seen a lot of people like it. I haven't really seen pretty much anyone dislike it or speak negatively about it. So I feel like this one is unpopular. But yeah, I didn't enjoy the Founders Trilogy. I didn't even finish it. I got through book 2 and I rated Shorefall 2 stars. I absolutely disliked it. I had the worst time reading it. I just didn't think it was written well. I thought it was really boring again. I didn't like any of the characters. I thought the dialogue was really bad. The world building was just uninspired. It was not a good time to me. So I stopped reading it and I don't like it. Okay, I'm moving over for the rest of the answers. Okay, the second prompt is a popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love. Now, I didn't really find an answer that fit this question super well, so I'm just going to kind of modify it to be a popular book or series that everyone else seemed to hate, but I didn't hate, because there wasn't really any book I found that fit this perfectly. So for this prompt, I'm going to go with From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have seen a lot of hate in the places I look for reviews, which is BookTube, certain booktubers I follow, Reddit, like the book subreddit or the fantasy subreddit. No one seems to like From Blood and Ash. Everyone thinks it's stupid and like silly and all this stuff. And so I read it because I wanted to read a book with fantasy vampires. Like I was super into that. I don't really care about romance. It's not my favorite thing, but I was into the vampires, so I decided to read it. And honestly, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's not my favorite book ever, so I couldn't say that I love it, but I thought it was a pretty good time, and I actually kind of had fun while reading it. Now, I'm not going to say the same for the sequels because I haven't read them. I started the second one and I got like just a little bit in, and I was like, this is not for me anymore. And I DNF'd, but From Blood and Ash, the first book specifically, I didn't hate it the way that everyone else seemed to. So I'm going to just count this book for this question. Okay, the third prompt is a love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you did not want them to end up with, or just an OTP I don't like. I have 2 for this, so spoiler warning for both Harry Potter if you haven't read that yet at this point, and also an Ember in the Ashes series. So first of all, in Harry Potter, I did not like that Hermione and Ron ended up together in the end. I know it wasn't like necessarily a love triangle, but I still think that Harry and Hermione should have been together in the end. Like I was waiting for it the whole time. By the 7th book, I was like, okay, it's happening. It's going to happen in this book. But it never did. And Hermione ended up marrying Ron, and they probably lived happily ever after. And I'm just like, this isn't right. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. And also, in the Ember in the Ashes series, again, I don't know that this is necessarily a love triangle in the way that like Twilight did it, for instance, where it's totally feasible that the girl could end up with either guy, or in this case, it's the guy could end up with either girl, but anyways. But still, like I always held out hope, even though I knew it was never going to happen and it was just a pipe dream. But I actually wanted Elias and Helene to end up together because I just thought they fit each other really well. Like they fit together well. I think it's just because they started off as friends and not necessarily romantically involved that I thought that they would have fit together better. So I knew it was never going to happen, but I was always like, maybe by the end, but of course it didn't. And I don't hate that Elias and Leia ended up together in the end. Like, I don't really care about them, but my OTP would have been better. The fourth prompt is a popular book genre that you hardly reach for. And I picked two answers for this one. The first is romance. I'm just not into romance. I don't generally like it. I don't like the tropes that are usually included in romance books. I don't really like romance as the main central plot of a book. It's not my cup of tea. And the second answer is going to be horror. I am a huge wimp and I get scared very easily. I spook easily. So I cannot do horror. So I pretty much never pick up any horror. So that's that on that. Okay, the fifth prompt is a popular or beloved character that you don't like. And I have two answers for this one too. The first one, don't hate me, please, is Locke Lamora. And he is a character in the Gentleman Bastard series. I read The Lies of Locke Lamora. I didn't love it. And I didn't really like Locke. I don't really understand the love for him. He was fine, I guess. Like, he was sort of fun, but I feel like that was all undercut by really inconsistent character writing, in my opinion. Like, I never really got a true handle on his personality. Like, was he supposed to be charming? Was he supposed to be a good thief or just a prolific thief? Was he altruistic? Did he care about people? Did he not give a shit about people? Like, I just didn't understand him by the end. So I was like, I don't really care about you. I don't know, maybe he gets better, or maybe it's like more concrete characterization in the later books. But as far as the book that I read, which is just the first one in the Gentleman Bastard series, I didn't really care for Locke. The second character I'm going to posit here is Vin from the Mistborn series. I didn't like Vin. I thought she was too much of a not like other girls character. I thought she was like too perfect at everything. She was too like best of the best for me. It's just not a character type that I like, which you'll see later, as I will say for another answer upcoming. But yeah, I just didn't think Vin was very interesting. I thought her kind of internal struggle with feelings of self-doubt and all that kind of stuff could have been interesting, but it was so heavy-handed in the writing that it was just annoying to me. I just didn't care for the writing of Vin at all, really. Okay, number 6 is a popular author you can't seem to get into. That is 100% for me going to be Brandon Sanderson. No. I have read 5 books of his now, and the only book that I remotely liked at all was the first Mistborn book. I haven't liked any of the other 4, which include the rest of that Mistborn trilogy era one, and also The Way of Kings, and also Elantris. I haven't liked any of them. They haven't been fun to me. I don't like his writing style. I don't like his character writing. I don't like his world building. I don't like his dialogue. None of it works for me. And so now I have concluded that he is just not for me, and that's okay. And I'm not going to keep trying with him. It's unfortunate because he's so popular. Like, I want to be in the club with everyone else that likes him, but oh well, it is what it is, and I've accepted it at this point. Okay, number 7 is a popular book trope you're tired of seeing. I have 2 for this again. The first is, as I kind of hinted at before, it's the main character that is the best of the best. Whatever profession they're in at the beginning of the book, or whatever they are doing, like whatever, they're the best at it. They are the absolute best. I don't like that. I think it's incredibly boring to me. I really like messy underdog main characters. I find it so much easier to root for them than like someone who's incredibly skilled. So when a book presents a main character as being the best in their field, I'm just like, boring, I don't care. And the second trope I have for this prompt is placing the rightful heir on the throne. I have seen that done so much, and I really dislike it pretty much every time. First of all, I am so tired of that storyline in books. Like, it is so prevalent in fantasy, especially like older fantasy, that I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Hopefully it's a B plot or a C plot even, and then like it's kind of fine, I guess, like in Lord of the Rings, for example. But there's a lot of other books that do have it front and center in the plot, and I don't like it. So as I said, I've seen it too much, but also I don't like monarchies. It's hard for me to get behind them and be like, yes, the king, the queen, you know. Also, it always feels like the rightful king or queen or whatever just comes out of nowhere. They've never had any like diplomatic training or battle strategy training or anything like that. They're just put on the throne because of their blood, which makes them special. And I'm like, you're probably not even going to be a good ruler. No one cares because they're of the right line. So I just don't like it. There's a lot of things about it I don't like and I don't agree with and I can't get behind. So yeah. Okay, the 8th prompt is a popular book or series that you have no interest in reading. So for this prompt, I have 2 answers, 2 different series that I don't have really an interest in reading. The first is A Song of Ice and Fire. There's a couple reasons I don't want to read this. First of all, we have the TV show, and I just feel like unless George is going to change the ending, like I've seen it. I've already seen it. The second reason is that I don't love overly dark stories. I feel like I've seen some contention online of whether this is actually grimdark or not, but it's dark enough for me and it's like hopeless enough for me that I wouldn't have a good time reading it. I know I wouldn't. So I'm not even going to start it because I don't just want to be depressed while I'm reading it and just like hate everything and hate my time reading it. So it's just not worth it for me. The second answer for this prompt is The Realm of the Elderlings, which I'm sort of on the fence about, but for now I'm thinking I'm not going to read any of Robin Hobb's books in this whole entire series, kind of for the same reason as A Song of Ice and Fire. I've heard it's just too dark. There's just too much bad stuff that happens. It's like kind of depressing. She treats her characters horribly, which could be really good conflict, don't get me wrong, but it's just not what I like to see. I don't like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happening with no glimmer of hope, kind of. It's so incredibly depressing to me and it makes me like feel bad. It puts me in a bad mood. It affects me a lot and I don't like it. So I don't think I'm even going to touch it. Okay, the 9th and final prompt is, the saying goes, the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? I have 2 answers for this one. Again, the first one is actually the first season of the His Dark Materials TV show. I actually prefer that over the Golden Compass book. Now, I really liked the Golden Compass book. I think it was actually the only one I really loved out of the His Dark Materials trilogy. So I even liked the book for that one a lot, but I just thought the show brought it to life so well. I thought the characters were kind of even deepened in the show. I thought the dialogue was improved. I love the way that it looked. Like, I like the cinematography of the show. I just thought it really elevated the source material and made it just so good and so fun to watch. I thought it was a really good adaptation. I love the casting, everything was good. So I actually enjoyed the adaptation of that. Again, the show, not the movie, versus the book. My second answer for this is the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie versus Dracula the book. First of all, I didn't really like the Dracula book very much. I thought it was really boring and just so incredibly verbose, too wordy, unnecessarily repetitive. It's just too much. I did not like it. The Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, now I'm not gonna say like it's the height of cinema. It's not like a good movie, but it's almost like so ridiculous that it's good. And it's just so much more fun and enjoyable to me than the book was. So I don't necessarily think like it was a particularly great adaptation of the book in the sense that it put the book contents to screen well, but since I enjoyed the experience of watching the movie so much more than the experience of reading the book, I am including it for this prompt. So that was my version of the Unpopular Opinions book tag. I love watching these tags. I love when other people do them, so I wanted to do one myself. So anyways, I present it. If you have any opinions about any of the books or characters or series or authors or whatever that I talked about, I would love to know. I'd like to hear your opinions on them. Even if you disagree with me, I just want to know. Like, I love hearing it all. Other than that, I guess that's all from me. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for watching. And otherwise, just have a really great day. Farewell.